Okay, and we're just doing a little update here, setting it up for the camera work for this. Just using this guy to run around. I'll put him somewhere else, but I got to fix this guy. Gonna tilt him a little forward so it looks like he's hanging out the wall a little bit different. And then I'm gonna put certain various creatures as these things. These are just the animations that as they are. Right now, I started down the hallway here. Put some creatures. Run down the hallway quicker. Then you think, oh, another one, run, run. And you get down here. What are these guys? Now, I want you to pay special attention here. I'm going to stop moving. Look at the floor and the ceiling, or the sides of the walls. It's breathing. Now, what I should do is look in how that happens, this little thing, and make it a little more prominent so that it kind of is more noticeable, right? It's like I might come down, do a shot and come down the thing here and just kind of slow down and stop for a second while it breathes. So everything's breathing. It's not just static, right? And you get down into here, and I have to give her another type of animation other than just an idle. Just standing there, looking straight out. And then you got these two creepy little guys over here. And you're wondering, well, why is this guy look like this and not like a person? Well, this would be part of another part that I haven't done yet, which he's not. He's changed. Anyway, I'll get this finished tomorrow sometime. I got running into some interesting stuff there this morning, and I posted that stuff about the solar arrays, and you know, trying to come up with ideas. You know, I saw a YouTube video where some big finance guys were talking about how there's $2 trillion earmarked for Canadian investment due to or in and around this type of technology and investment and da 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 da. They'd like to see that the investment, instead of coming through government, would go in business. Well, the initial push on the business is to get the infrastructure that would do something that I have as a plan. You could have all the private businesses invest in all this, and then the government can buy it all up in bulk with a little discount than the regular guy gets. Thus, they get their little cutback, and everybody gets solar arrays, free electricity. Renters get less rent. You don't have to pay. You get all this other jazz, right? So it was involved, and I had talks with people from Alberta even, right? And I said, this benefits you because if you don't need to give any oil whatsoever to a Canadian who pays X price, you can send it over to Europe who pays X plus more. Okay, and you make more money. And then the guy started going, well, Germany should have turned on its coal. I'm like, forget about that coal. Okay? I mean, it's 10 times, 20, 100 times dirtier than any oil you can get out of the ground. Okay? And as we build up this type of capacity to do this kind of thing, okay, this amount of solar arrays, think about it. If we get a little extra, then we can start exporting these en masse to everybody. Okay, I mean it's a gold mine in the end, but it takes convincing the greedy people who would want to put take some farmland and put all solar arrays in it, thus rising the cost of food, right? Because there's less food now, and then charge us for the electricity. right? It's kind of ass backwards, don't you think? The way it should be done, that maybe all of us should just get free electricity and then sell that maybe access to businesses who then have cheaper electricity, and then that offsets the savings I have from having a solar array and paying for no electricity and having more money to spend. You see, I'm thinking about it, right? This is where I got a bunch of what I would make, see, finance and capital investment companies and whatnot pile into my followers on Twitter. There, about 5 or 10 of them, native mining groups and stuff like this. All these people are needed too, eh? You got to get all these people together, even Alberta, and say, hey, oil company, wouldn't you like to make more rather than less, right? See, the problem with oil is it just doesn't last forever. And then when there's none left, the price has gone so freaking high, nobody can do anything anyway. You got to do this anyway. So why not do it now when we have the oil? So, and you do it incrementally in 5% chunks so that the oil industry can adjust to start shipping that oil and exporting, buying more tankers. That way you don't need 5,000 tankers all at once. You can buy divided by 20, right? 250 a year kind of thing and get them going, you know, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, okay, you don't rely 100% on the solar. You put like one new plant, extra new plant in somewhere in Saskatchewan or Manitoba, and one in Alberta, and then one down east somewhere, right, to help their costs. If you get a situation where it's dark for a week and the batteries, that we make for all these things, right? And the other point is the excess power can be put back into a battery storage system that when we need it can give it back. Now this is going to cost a little bit, but it's going to cost far less than it would be to, whatever. Plus, the odds that a big ass storm like this takes everybody out of power and ruins things and causes, whatever, is much less. Okay, much less. Like you could have a switch in the basement that goes, click, and then it's just local power, right? Anyway, I mean that's just me 10 years ago coming up with an idea when nobody wanted it. Right now, people want these kinds of ideas, right? Well, you just can't do it all at once. That's the problem with a lot of people is they feel they'll have no job, they feel they'll be out, and etc. Right? And if we can free up big ass fields that have solar panels in them and have them all on our houses, then more farmers can have more land. And even though they're using less fertilizer, they could technically then, make as much money and sell as much food, and there'd be no issue. Okay? Everybody argues and fights too much, and they stop thinking about the long term. The problem with politicians is all of them think short term. Okay? They're only there for 5 years. That's the longest they're ever going to even remotely think about. Usually it's like 3 years, and then the rest of it's all them trying to be reelected again. Anyway.